Hey guys, we're back with another mastering tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about dynamic EQ. Uh, Again, I mentioned in the first video, which was the regular EQ, that I have a few plugins in here that I purchased that were specifically, I needed them to do specific jobs that the stock plugins weren't cutting it. Again, I'm not telling anyone to go buy these. It's just if you have enough instances where you think you need something, that you need a specific job taken care of, and you know for a fact that a specific plugin will take care of it, it might be worth it to invest in those things. So today we're going to talk about dynamic EQ. Dynamic EQ is often confused with a multiband compressor, whereas where a multiband compressor will compress large sections of frequency ranges. Like in here, we're using it for everything below 82 hertz. I mentioned that I also often use it between 120 and about 350, and from 350 to about 2K, but I didn't on this mix. I'm using it for the sub lows. That's what multiband compression is. You can compress just specific frequency ranges. Where a dynamic EQ comes in handy is you're going to be adjusting even smaller frequency ranges. And in some cases, you're going to make them pop up even more. So here we're going to, again, highlight the chorus like we've been doing for the last few videos so you can see where this is the most apparent. All right. The first move I did was this. It's another high shelf. And I'll show you what that's doing. Here's without, and I'll add it in. It just adds a little more to the top end. You see this range is at 0.1, which means every time the high end is registered, it actually bumps it up just a little bit more. But at the same time, there's a compressor built in. So here, set the frequency, everything above 7K. I had a shelf in the original EQ that was everything above 10K. I also mentioned in that video that I often shelf from 7K up. So here, this is at 7.3K right now. And it's a 1 point, oh wow, that's actually a high shelf. Okay, it's a 1.8 dB boost again in those highs. And the range is up 0.1 just so it bumps a little bit. But it's also being compressed, watch. This is the threshold for the compressor part of it. The attack and release are set on the default, which is 16 milliseconds and then 160 milliseconds. But here you can see there's just a little bit of compression going on. It's tightening up the high end, but it's also boosting it a little bit. All right. Then the next thing we added after that was here at 1K. Let's go over, excuse me. Let's go over what these are all doing. So yeah, we're at 1K, compressing a little bit. And the range is up 0.5. So again, that's just bumping it a little bit. And the gain is up 1.1. So what this is doing, it's mainly for the guitars to make them pop through a little more. Let's listen to what this is doing. See, it's that really high guitar part, those little high, like that almost syncopated guitar chords. And then after we did that, what happened there was that actually boosted the vocals a little bit, which we didn't want to do. So we notched some out. This is actually a fairly wide cue. It's scooping a lot there, but it peaks in the middle. And we're taking out 1.7 dB of 2.4K. And this one's actually not compressing at all. It's just bumping, and there's no range. So this is really just a regular EQ cut. There's no compression on it. There's no range bumping it. So this is what this did. So it just kind of makes the vocals sit back just a little bit, so it just blends into the mix better. And then the last thing we did was down here in the kick. What happened was when we cut out this is a big frequency cut through range. So when we did this, the kick was just kind of pumping up too much. So we notched that out a little bit too. We're at 65 hertz, 1.8 Q. We took out 2.6 dB, and the range is at minus 4.2, so it's actually taking it down each time the kick hits, and it's fairly heavily compressed. Here is one of the few times that I actually did adjust the attack and release on this compressor. It's at 5.5 millisecond attack and at 223 millisecond release. See, that's just tightening up the kick a little bit. And it seems like a pretty big move, but that's just the way that this EQ looks. If you notice on the regular EQ, for example, here, let's go to 4. That's a 1.1 dB boost, and it looks like quite a bit. Or here, 5 would be a better example. So minus 1.7 dB cut. And if we go over to this EQ, that looks like way less when this is on a 1.7 dB cut. It's just the way that it's visualized in this plugin. So it looks like a lot, but it's actually not all that much. They are all pretty subtle moves, but they're just little tiny tweaks. So we're going to show you what it sounds like when we take this away and bring it back in. So it's just tightening things up. It actually sounds like it's almost taking away from the mix. But the reason for that is because of these two things. We did this first, and then we came back and did this after. Because these gave us some stuff that we liked, but also some stuff we didn't like. So this was more of a correction for these. So I probably should have showed you those first, but it is what it is. You'll see overall at the end, we're going to switch everything on and off when we've finished in the very last video. The next thing we're going to get into is limiting, and that's a fun one. It's actually debated by quite a few people I know of whether or not to use limiting, and it really does depend on the track. So we'll see what happens there. As always, please go to GarageRecordingAcademy.com, download your free Studio Client Interactions Guide. It can be really helpful for you. And please stick around after this video for a little bit of a live Q&A. We'll hopefully have some more people and some more questions. Anything you would like to know about a dynamic EQ and whether or not you need one and which ones to get. By the way, this is the F6 dynamic EQ from Waves. All right. Hope you stick around for the Q&A. If not, I'll see you in the next video. All right, guys. So if anybody has any questions about dynamic EQ, you can go ahead and drop those in the live chat for the video. Be happy to answer any questions you have about that. If you're watching the replay of this video, if you missed the live event, then you can go ahead, drop any questions you might have into the comments below the video. I'll go through them later, and I'll be happy to answer them for you there. And yeah. Doesn't seem that we have any questions, so I think we're going to call this a day for this video. We'll be coming back at the exact same time tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for the limiting video. Hope to see you there. Then after that, there's only one more video, which will be on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So tomorrow's limiting. Day after that, final touches. Hope to see you at those videos. Any questions you have, drop them in the comments. If you could hit the subscribe button, that'd be great. You'll be notified about any new videos we put out. We have a couple more videos in the works after the mastering ones are done. And Make sure you go to GarageRecordingAcademy.com, download that Studio Client Interactions Guide, because that'll help you out. All right, thanks, guys.